Welcome to an all-new episode of the EDJ Whitetails. I know it's been a while since we've been on the channel. The turkey hunting has not gone as planned. Through the end of April here and the first part of May, today is May 4th, we had flooding in the land here. I'm down here today on a Sunday afternoon. Everything's starting to dry out. Still a little damp down here, but got some food plot work to take care of. Water got on top of the food plots. It's just kind of a it's always going to happen down here. Not a big deal. I know how to deal with it now. I know I'm always prepared. I've always got my Clover Plus ready to reseed if needed. The clover hung in there pretty good, but gonna add a little bit to it as always. So Chinese chestnuts, as you see on the cover photo here. Hang with us here. We're going to talk all about why I chose them, how I'm going to plant them, and what I'm hopeful for the future with our Chinese chestnuts. Stay tuned.
Welcome to the EDJ Whitetails.
All right, welcome back. So, like I said, Sunday, May 4th, you can see it's a beautiful Northeast Iowa day. Everything's starting to green up. And I'm down here. I want to get these Chinese chestnuts in the ground. I actually ordered these from a company you probably have seen the commercials for, fastgrowingtrees.com. These are 7-foot tall Chinese chestnuts. Now, I've ordered seedlings in the past and planted them that way, much like I do with the oaks and the rest of the trees in the property. But I wanted a jump start with these Chinese chestnuts, and I went a lot bigger. Fast Growing Trees had them shipped to me within a week. They came 2 to the box, and I've got an area picked out south of the food plots here that I want. I'm gonna make my little chestnut grove here. Now the Chinese chestnut, when I get them at this height, can actually start producing fruit within 3 years. I wanted that jump start. The Chinese chestnuts that I planted as seedlings, there's still a few of them surviving, but they're all but dormant. They've grown very little. Not sure what I'm doing wrong there. I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna dig a really deep hole for each of these. I've still got some mulch left over down here. I'm gonna mulch them in, and then I've also got wire cages to go around them that are really tall to help protect them from the deer. As you can see, they're really leafed out. Fast Growing Trees is out of South Carolina. I want to have them fenced in right away because I think these big leaves will be very attractive to the whitetails down here that are used to just seeing a lot of little leaves thus far this season. So I'm going to grab some tools, and before I start digging though, this can bear fruit within 3 to 5 years. I'm more hopeful for 3. I'm going to keep these very, very good care of these. I'm going to get these in the ground. Now what I'm hoping for here, why I went with Chinese chestnut, it produces fruit faster than a normal chestnut. And to my knowledge, I haven't come across any chestnut trees down here in the river bottom. And if we can have that diversity, as you've seen earlier, I planted some northern pecans not too far from here. Of course, we've got oaks in the river bottom, but if I can add, and I'll keep adding each year, but I'm starting off with a couple of these bigger ones. If we can add that diversity and another attractive nut to the property, that's just going to help us all the more. This is shortly off of the food plots, in between the east and west thicket. They'll be protected back here, the trees, and when the deer feed on them, and utilize everything around it protected. I'm going to keep everything underneath these mowed. My mower broke down today, so I'm not able to mow this before I dig, but I need to get them in the ground nonetheless. So follow along with me on step by step here on what I'm going to do, and we'll wrap this episode up. So as you can see here, I got my spot picked out. Simple shovel, that's how we're going to go about this. I don't have a bigger auger or anything to go with. I'm going to get to digging. And I imagine with the root system down here with all this reed canary grass, this is going to be a bit of a chore. But the cool part is shortly after this flood now, we're about a week removed of that. The soil is good and damp. It's going to put a good foundation for these trees, as they'll be able to get a good drink right away. And I'll show you what I'm going to do with them before I actually even put them in the ground. I'm going to keep digging here. Stay tuned, and hopefully I don't work up too big a sweat. All right, so dug 2 holes here. Now I'm going to show you what I did with these. Is I made them much bigger than I actually needed. So you can see how big the hole is there. A couple feet deep, and you can see how big the potted part of this tree is. So this is how they arrive, not in the 5-gallon bucket, but the actual vented plastic container there with that little piece of cardboard. I've got some water in the bottom of that bucket, and that's what they've actually been. We've actually had them for about a week now, a week and a half, and that's how they've been living in my backyard, attached to the chain link fence so they didn't blow anywhere. So they also come this bamboo to help support it. I'm going to leave that on there for the time being until I feel like the tree is growing enough that it's not, you know, if that white tape or whatever they've got around it, if that starts to look like it's stressing the bark in any way, I'll get rid of it. So I'm going to get the tree in the ground, and then I'm going to show you what I like to do, what my dad taught me when you plant a bigger tree like this with the water that I've got. So hang tight. All right, so I've got the camera turned down now. I've got a 5-gallon bucket full of water from the creek, and I'm going to get this thing in the ground. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to bring it up out of the bucket, and it's coming up right out of the container. I'm going to leave as much water there as I can. We're going to get that in there. Let me grab the camera here. So that was the bucket in the plastic that it came up out of. And then we've got, let me get this out of the way. Here's how it's sitting in the ground. I'm going to actually work up some of this soil with my hands and actually put a little bit up underneath and make sure that that's good and flat in there. And as you can see, I made my hole really big. One of the reasons being is this reed canary grass has such a root system, and I want to get mulch all around this. So I wanted to cut as many roots from that reed canary grass as possible. When I put that mulch down, it's just on top of fresh dirt. Now, I'm not naive to the fact that there's still not going to be weeds growing right up around it, but like I said, I'm going to get the mower in here once I get that fixed back up and get all of this mowed, and it'll be a nice little orchard. The pecan trees are just to the north, and I think I'm excited. This is pretty cool. So hang with me here. I'm going to get a little bit of this dirt work done. Then we're going to drive a post in the ground, and then I'll show you the protection around the tree that I have for it, and we'll wrap this up. Chinese chestnuts. So I've got it leveled up. I've got the tree leveled up. And now what I like to do, one thing my old man taught me years ago, planting trees, I take like half of the bucket of this water, and right off the bat, before we start getting dirt in there, go ahead and get all that water in that hole, and then what I had left in the bucket from in my yard, we're going to dump all that in. So now the tree has a nice drink right off the start, and I'm going to start filling all this in with dirt now. All right, so I've got my dirt all packed in there. The soil's all packed in there nice and tight. You can still see some of the moisture seeping up out, which is good. So we'll let that. And now I just need to mulch it in. I went over a mulch pile down here. I got a 5-gallon bucket full, brought it over. I'll spread it out around here, and then we'll get it caged. All right, so it's in the 70s today. I got a little sweated up, but got both of them in the ground now, both of them caged. And I'm gonna flip the camera and I'll show you just how well we have them caged. As you can see, I got my fence post driven in. This heavier wire caging that is, at least 5 foot tall up on these trees. And as you can see, I got it all mulched in. Everything's packed in, and they're good and sturdy. That's how far apart they are. I'm very excited about these. Like I said, I'm going to take super care of these and try and get them to really come up. If we can get them much taller, then we'll start getting some chestnuts and see how the deer in the farm like it. So if you got some property, you want to try something like this, I would definitely give it a shot. Let us know in the comments how you've done. If you have planted Chinese chestnut in Iowa or the upper Midwest at all, let us know. Get some conversation going there. But Be getting a few more episodes out. I'll be gone for Nationals Archery all this week, so won't have anything out on the channel probably till next weekend. Hoping to get some turkey hunts in. I have not actually turkey hunted for myself at all. I've had the youth out a little bit, and that's all. So too much going on, but we'll get there yet. There's still a little bit of season left here in Iowa for those big gobblers. So need to get that PSE Mach 33 rolling. I gotta showcase that to you guys too. That has arrived now. Took 14 weeks, but we got her. So for this episode of the Edge Whitetails, I'm Eric Johnston. Thanks so much for tuning in as always. Remember, if you would, hit that subscribe button if you have not already. And until next time, get outdoors.